Okay. Disappointed in the result today. I want to compliment Coach Pelini and his football team. They have a good football team. We knew that coming in. Again, in games like this, very little room for error. A lot of corrections for us to make, and a lot of football still to be played this year. So with that, I'll take questions.
You have any update on Gary?
I don't, and I don't even know that we will tomorrow. I think we're going to have to wait this one out a couple days.
Can you talk about the decision there to go just play aggressively from your own 2-yard line rather than, run out the clock in that situation?
Sure, they were getting the ball in the second half. I felt like we needed to be aggressive. I felt like we needed to give ourselves an opportunity to see if we could get some points there at the end of the first half. So I said that to Ralph right before the drive started, and he called the plays accordingly.
Can we take it as a good sign that he tried to come back, and Gary tried to come back and give it a go? That might not be.
I wouldn't look into it, because what I've found is with a lot of injuries, what the player feels on game day with the adrenaline is not necessarily what it is the next day or the day after. So I think we're going to need a couple days.
Throwing Chris in on the road, how do you think he handled himself?
I thought Chris did a good job. I thought he did a good job with what he had, what we gave him in terms of play calls. I thought he made good decisions. I thought he made decisive decisions. To me, that's probably the most important thing. I don't expect him to be perfect, but usually it's hesitation that gets you in trouble.
Nebraska's defensive line, you praised them in your press conference from what you've seen on film. What did you see in person?
Sure, every bit as good as I thought they would be. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they have disruptive people. They have defensive linemen that can win one-on-ones. And when you have that, then at times you only have to rush 4. And when you can rush 4, you cover better. And one of the other things I said during the week was I thought this was one of the better cover teams that we were facing this season.
And then going back to the offensive side, what did you see from Amir Abdullah today, and how does he stack up to some of the guys that you've seen in college football?
Yeah, I said this week I thought he was one of the better backs that we've seen in my time at Rutgers. So that's 10 years and a lot of good football players. He certainly didn't unimpress in person. He was very impressive. And what I like about him as a runner is that you see all the things you want in a runner. He's got excellent vision. He's got excellent contact balance. You see the burst through the line of scrimmage when he identifies where he wants to run. And he's got good enough speed that he can run away from you.
That's it, Kyle. I mean, you talk about limiting big plays earlier in the week. I mean, how disappointing was it to see you guys not be able to make some open field tackles on him?
Yeah, well, we'll see it on film. We'll see what the reasons were on film. But you have to limit big plays. It's one of the statistics that we look at that we know determines football games. And certainly when you look at it from a defensive perspective over a good span of time at Rutgers, more than 2 25-yard plays in a game. The numbers go way up. So they had more than that today.
How much does the starting field position become a concern?
Yeah, field position was a struggle for us. We started, I think, 4 drives inside our 20. They started 2 drives inside their 20. You start those drives inside the 20, your percentages of scoring go way down. Now you're looking at trying to flip field. We approached it differently at the end of the first half because I felt like we needed to. We needed to be more aggressive. But generally, when you're back there, the first thing you're trying to do is flip the field. You're not even thinking about points at the beginning of the drive.
Kyle, what did you see from Robert Martin, especially that last drive?
I was very pleased with Robert the whole game. We had a plan to use him earlier this week than we had, and we're going to use him as kind of the spell guy within the drives. And then as we got into the game, we wanted to give him a drive and see how he would handle that. And the most important thing he did was protect the football. So if he continues to do that, he'll continue to get opportunities.
Even as that drive didn't get off to a good start, did you think about changing, or you just decided you're going to be aggressive there?
Once we made the decision, we're going to try to be aggressive, unless we got so far behind the sticks that it warranted a kind of change in philosophy.
You also went for it on 4th and 1 on the opening drive. Another aggressive play call. Did you feel like you had to be more aggressive in a spot like this? I know you don't look at it as underdog, but road environment.
I like the way we're moving the ball. I wanted the ball first. They actually deferred, so we got it first. But I wanted the ball first today, and I was pleased with the way we were moving the ball, and I was disappointed we didn't make it.
Kyle, how did Chris handle his job from a leadership perspective and directing the offense and leading the huddle?
I'm going to say he did a good job, although I haven't talked to him or any of the other players about that. And the reason I'm going to say he did a good job is how they got in and out of the huddle. That generally tells you how the mechanics are working, how the authority is being doled out, and who's got command in there. And he got the play calls, he got in and out of the huddle, and it looked like a good operation. So I'll say he did a good job.
This is always going to be a very difficult 2-game stretch on the road against 2 very good teams. How do you think your program got through this, and what do you say to your players about what's left for this season?
2 We're disappointed we're 0-2 if you look at it from a 2-game perspective. 2 We're disappointed we're 0-2 if you look at it from a 2-game perspective. 2 We're disappointed we're 0-2 if you look at it from a 2-game perspective. 2 We're disappointed we're 0-2 I think we've come out of it a better football team. I think now, just by going through the experience of it and going on the road and playing some of the best teams in the country, we're going to be a better football team because of it, and we're excited about the opportunity to go home next week.
How has your kids focused the last 2 weeks walking into two of the cathedrals of college football?
It's been really good. I was really pleased today. I mean, we did a better job this week of focusing early in the game and playing clean football earlier in the game than we did last week. And one of the things kind of I'm alluding to, Steve, with your question, we opened the game with a 9-play drive. We got stopped on downs. They had an 11-play drive for a touchdown. Then we had another 8-play drive. Gary throws the ball a little bit behind a receiver. It ends up being an interception. If the ball's out in front, we can continue. But we had better drives this week. The third drive, we have a touchdown. So, again, it's not – our goal is to be 1-0 each week. We're not. But I don't think whether it's a win, it's not all good, and when it's a loss, there are positives that you can take from it. And for us, it will be a better football program and a better football team this year because of the experience of the last 2 weeks.
How do you think not having Janarian and Andre for the first half affected you?
Maybe on kickoff return a little bit. That would be the only place I would tell you that I think it affected us. I think there was only one punt in the first half, and it was a fair catch situation. John caught it. Wasn't perfectly clean, but he did catch it. So in terms of effect, I don't think there was any effect in that part of the game. And I think John does a good job of receiver, so I wasn't concerned with it there.
Do you get a sense of how maybe Nebraska stacks up against Ohio State, having played the two teams back to back?
I don't know. I don't think that's my job, to compare those two programs. I would tell you they're both very good programs, and what makes them tough on defense is they both have very good defensive lines.
Got time for 2 more.
You ever had opposing fans clap for you when you left a game?
I would say that the fans out here and all the people we've come in contact with really have carried themselves with a lot of class.
How do you feel like your team measured up on the lines? Nebraska's so big up front.
I think we need to play better. I think we need to perform better. Your question speaks a little bit, I think, to size, and I don't know that that's the issue. And again, Nebraska's got good football players. They've got good offensive linemen. They play 7 or 8 guys in the game. They've got good defensive linemen. 2 of those kids are 2 of the better players in the country. So at times I thought we did all right, but we got to play at a higher level, more consistently, to be 1-0 against teams like this. Thank you.